Hi again. Here we are to continue talking about Google Fonts. So in the last video, I just kind of, talked about the fonts here. Why don't we use one of these fonts now? Let's go back here and, I think I like this one here. So let's go click on this, and maybe we'll use this for a headline, okay? And maybe we'll pair it with Open Sans. Like, they have a good combination here. I kind of like the look of that. So what we'll do is we'll select this font, okay? And you can see it appears in a little tab down here at the bottom. So when I open this up, it says, Shrikhand, right? And it kind of gives me some other options here, right? Let's put that down there, and then let's add Roboto. Or actually, this one is Open Sans. Why don't we click on Open Sans and add that to our list here? So I just click the plus button, and then now when I go in here, you can see I've got two fonts selected: Open Sans and Shrikhand, I guess that's called, right? And now how are we going to use those? Well, what we'll do is we'll look here and it says Embed Font, right? And there's two ways to do it. You can do the standard one or the @import. And this is just, these are two options that you can use with your style sheet and how you import the font, okay? We're going to use the standard method. And so what I'll do is I'll copy this tag right here and I'll paste it into my document. And I'll put it in the head of the document here. And you can see it's just a link to a style sheet. Funny, right? It's got the link tag. It's rel style sheet. So this must just be a link to a style sheet. So it is. It's just a link to a style sheet that names the fonts. And there's just a couple style rules that you can use that allow you to import fonts. I won't get into the details. It's actually a little tricky on how you do that one. Not hard. It's just, a little tedious for the stuff that you need to type. But we won't need to do it because Google's going to do it for us, and we're just going to get it from their server, okay? And then it'll point to their server and load the font data from their server too. So that's pretty good for us, right? So now how do we use it? Well, if we go a little further down here, you can see they give you a little sample CSS. So it says use the following CSS rules to specify these families, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to copy these two things here. And you can see that I'll just paste them into my style sheet. We're going to have to actually put these someplace where they make sense. But for right now, you can see that essentially these are just the property font family with the name of the font. And then they're giving us a short font stack here with this font name, comma, cursive. And so this is the default font that the system would use if this font is not available, okay? So it's saying like, hey, let's substitute the default cursive font if, this one is not available for some reason. And for Open Sans, we're going to substitute the sans serif if that's not available, okay? So if something happens on the Google server and they can't serve up our font or our font didn't load properly for some reason, these will be our defaults. And you can actually change these to some other font if you know there's some other font you'd rather be using. Okay, so how are we going to use these now? Well, I think for this font family, since this is going to be my body copy, let's put that in the body tag. We'll replace Helvetica with Open Sans, okay? And then I want my headlines to be this other font, Shrikhand, I guess, right? So let me remove a couple of those lines. And then maybe I'll do this, maybe I want the H1 tag to use this font. So I'll just style H1s to use that. And if you had some other style, you could use that rule here too. So anyway, there we go. Let's give it a try, right? So I'll head back to my page. And previously my page was all done in Helvetica. Now let's see what it looks like. Oh, there we go. So there's my custom Google font there, and there's our Shrikhand or whatever it is, and this is Open Sans. And then again, you might want to go into your style sheet and adjust the font size and the line height and all that stuff. I think I'm going to switch this to 1.5 ems. So it's got a little more line height. And then maybe this font, I want to make it a little bit bigger. I'm not sure how big. So let's inspect it with the inspector and set the setting here first, just so we can play with it kind of interactively and get a feel for it, right? So maybe I want to say, font size of 2M. Wait, I guess it's 2 M's already. Let me 2.5 M's. maybe that looks all right. So I'll use that, and then I can go into my style sheet here and say, font size 2.5 and there we go, right? And there's my Google Fonts on my page, okay? So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope those Google Fonts are helpful to you. I think these are great. Again, you don't want to use all the fonts, especially the goofy ones. Like this one's a little strange. There are 1 or 2 websites in the world that want to use this font and get away with it, and then the other, millions of websites don't want to use this font. So, be careful. Don't just pick something because it looks weird, right? Pick something that reads well. Okay. So anyway, thanks for watching, and good luck.